public grain warehouse of Taoyuan's Longtan. You can see that rice stored here is almost up to the ceiling. It's quite a lot because the rice harvest across Taiwan is more than 1.5 million tons, a 10% increase over 2018.
Our old rice hasn't been consumed yet, and the new rice is coming in. More rice around Taiwan means government warehouses have limited capacity.
More than 1,800 granaries in Taiwan have the same situation. The balance between production and sales has increased the cost of rice storage, and the price of rice has fallen. According to statistics, Taiwan's annual rice production is 1.4 million tons, while Taiwanese eat just 1.2 million tons of rice each year. In other words, 200,000 tons of rice are stored in public grain warehouses. This, together with prior amounts stored, means that there is currently more than 800,000 tons of rice in public granaries, which is more than twice the 4-month safety stock. Why is domestic rice in such a long-term oversupply condition?
What do I eat for breakfast? Usually mantou or bread.
Do you like to eat rice or noodles? Noodles.
In the 1980s, every Taiwanese ate hundreds of kilograms of white rice each year. Now has only 45 kilograms. The amount of rice eaten has fallen sharply by more than half, and the people do not eat rice, but they are replaced by pasta. People's annual wheat intake is as high as 38 kilograms, accounting for 84% of rice. The impact of Western diets such as burgers and pasta has changed consumption patterns, with the government telling people to eat more rice. This has led to little to no increase. This also aggravates the government's policy of guaranteed purchase price for rice.
If rice sits for a long time, it gets old and sells for very little, as the government will lose a lot of money.
Storage for more than 2 years leads to degradation, as this rice can only be used as feed. However, the government originally bought it at a price of $1 per kilogram and only selling it at 30 US cents. This loss is wasting taxpayer money.
Guaranteed purchases cost $657 million each year, which is wasting the people's money.
The cost of rice in Taiwan is $1,100 to $1,200 per ton, which is 2 to 3 times that of Vietnamese rice. Therefore, international competitiveness is weak, and most of the rice is sold domestically.
Taiwan's price for domestically produced rice is being artificially raised by the government. In fact, it is the second highest in the world after Tokyo.
In previous years, the sales of rice in Taiwan were probably only about 2,000 or 3,000 tons a year. Recently, we have actively tried to let this rice not become low-cost feed for animals.
In 2002, Taiwan joined the WTO, and in addition to surplus rice, it has to import 140,000 tons of foreign rice each year, which is complicating the local rice problem.
Imported Vietnam rice is almost 50 US cents for a Taiwan catty, which is much cheaper than domestic rice. This has a big impact upon the market.
As a result, public granaries are full every year, with the Agriculture and Food Administration trying to digest these stocks. Under the management of the government, the problem with excess rice continues and is still unresolved. Over the past few years, it encouraged farmers to switch to miscellaneous grains and not only plant rice.
If the government wants to pay, then the field should go fallow and avoid planting rice. If they don't go fallow, then cultivating too much rice will lead the price of rice to collapse.
The self-sufficiency rate of domestic rice and fishery products is more than 100%. Vegetables and fruits have a self-sufficiency rate of more than 85%, and meat is 75%. At first glance, Taiwan's total food self-sufficiency rate should be high, but the actual conversion is only 32%.
Why is the food self-sufficiency rate so low? Because we eat a lot of wheat, and also we import a lot of soybeans. What do we do with soybeans? We make cooking oil, so our overall food self-sufficiency rate becomes reduced.
The self-sufficiency rate of wheat and soybeans is less than 1% and 2%, respectively. In other words, pasta bread and raw materials for oil are almost entirely dependent on foreign imports. Therefore, the price and import volume of these foods are in the hands of foreigners.
In the past few food crises, Many of the world's major food exporters have the so-called restrictions on exports.
禁止出口的那种限制。
Global food shortage caused by natural disasters, wars, and diseases could have a major impact on Taiwan, which has a low total food self-sufficiency rate. However, when facing a sharp decline in wheat imports, there's plenty of rice which can feed the nation.
全世界在粮食危机的时候，
When the world is in the food crisis, no one in Taiwan will feel the food crisis because the rice we have in stock will not fluctuate like the price of foreign food.
的价格就巨幅的波动哈。
Excess rice one day may become a life-saving food. This is the value of rice. We should all appreciate how rice can be life-giving and support our continued existence.